The RBrohant and Modern Space Rainfall showers are all the same. The various model numbers merely indicate the material finish, chrome, matte black, etc. The internal workings are the same for all units, therefore the instructions would be the same for all. In this video, we will go through the steps of replacing the thermostatic valve. The valve is located behind the temperature setting handle. The water to the shower must be shut off before you begin the repair. If you don't have water shutoff valves for the shower, you'll have to shut off the water to the whole house. Relieve the pressure on your water pipes by opening a faucet and wait until the water stops running. Lay the handheld shower head at the shower drain and press the button to allow any remaining water to drain from the shower valve. Turn the temperature handle so you can see the opening for the screw holding the handle in place. Using a 4mm Allen key, slightly loosen the screw in the handle. We want to return the handle to the upright position before removing the handle so you can see the alignment of the old valve before you remove it. So use the Allen key as a lever to turn the handle while holding the key in place. Loosen the screw enough to remove the handle. It's not necessary to completely remove the screw in order to remove the handle. Leaving it in makes it easier to reassemble after the new valve is installed. Here I have already removed the black plastic spacer used to stop the movement of the handle. I will show you more about that later. Note the black markings on the old valve. These are aligned with the 38-degree mark. There is also a mark on the stem where the handle attaches. These marks should all line up. You could remove the thermostatic valve now, but I think it's best to remove the cover plate. Water from the valve may leak behind the plate. Also, you will be able to perform another maintenance step while the water is shut off. The plate is only held on by a gasket around the temperature valve. I found it easiest to use a couple of thin blades to wiggle the plate away from the wall. Then it will be easier to remove with your hands. The two large screws next to the valve are dirt screens for the incoming water. Now would be a good time to check if they're clean since the water has been turned off. Just use a large screwdriver to remove the screens, clean and reinstall. Here's what the screen looks like when removed. And this is how my plumber left it after installing the shower. He managed to get wood shavings and other debris into the piping. Note the black spacer, which was already removed in the previous picture. It is there to prevent scalding and also limit how far you can turn down the cold water. When you press the button on the temperature handle, you can then move the handle past the 38-degree mark to get even warmer water. Before removing, note how it is positioned so the handle stops when the button on the handle is vertical. You need to put it back exactly how it was removed. The thermostatic valve is held in place by the outer collar, in my case the chrome ring. You may have a different finish. You can try and unscrew it by hand, but most likely you will not be able to do that. To loosen the collar, these 4 holes are meant to be used for a pair of bent needle nose pliers with a tip that is no more than 3mm or 3/32 of an inch wide. I bought this pair at Harbor Freight, but had to grind down the tips to fit into the holes. They had a 90-degree bend and long handles for good leverage. You only need to give the collar a small twist to loosen it. Now you can unscrew it the rest of the way by hand. Now you're ready to remove the old valve. Use a pair of pliers to loosen it and then pull it out. I bought silicone grease for the O-rings. I'm not sure that they really needed it, but I gave each of the rings a small coating. To insert the valve, the screw on the bottom of the valve must align with the slot in the housing. Otherwise, you can't push it in all the way. Ideally, the black marks would align with the 38-degree mark. In my case, the replacement valve the factory sent me, the black marks and set screw were not exactly opposite sides of the valve. So I had to twist the valve for the screw to align with the slot. And to make allowances for this difference, I had to turn the stem so it would no longer align with the mark on the valve body. Give the thermostatic valve a small push so the valve is flush with the outer edge of the shower assembly. If you push it too far, give it a small pull to realign. In my case, unfortunately, the factory markings no longer aligned with the 38-degree mark. I adjusted the position of the valve stem so the handle, when installed, would still be aligned with the proper temperature when reassembled. With the valve properly seated, reinstall the outer collar which holds the valve in place. You may want to use the pliers to give it a small twist to snug it up. To reinstall the cover plate, align the back side of the plate with the openings for the valve stem and the center button directly above, and then push gently straight back. Next, replace the anti-scalding spacer in the same orientation as it was when you removed it. The start of the raised portion of the spacer should be in the 12 o'clock position so the handle will stop when the push button is vertical. To reinstall the handle, first insert the Allen key into the screw and hold in place while sliding the handle over the stem. The button should be in the 12 o'clock position so it can no longer be turned counterclockwise without pushing down on the button. Lightly tighten the screw and check the position of the handle by moving it back and forth. It may be necessary to adjust both the spacer and the handle a couple of times until you get the proper alignment. Now tighten the screw until you can no longer wiggle the handle on the stem, and the installation is complete.